Before you could speak a single word, before you could even hold up your own head, your brain was already running its most important experiment. And the results would quietly shape how you love, how you argue, how you handle stress, and how you feel the moment someone you care about walks out the door. The lead scientist in that experiment? Your mother. Not because of anything she taught you on purpose, but because of something far older and deeper than language. Today we're going to look at why your very first relationship, the one you can't even remember, may be the most powerful relationship you will ever have. Let's start with a strange fact. A newborn baby cannot focus its eyes on much. The world is a blur, but there is exactly one distance a newborn can see clearly, about 30 centimeters. That just happens to be the distance from a mother's arms to her face while feeding. Evolution did not leave that to chance. From the very first hours of life, a baby is built to find a face, lock onto it, and start learning. And the first thing it learns is not words or shapes. It learns a question. When I need someone, will someone come? This question is the seed of what psychologists call attachment. In the 1950s, a British psychologist named John Bowlby noticed something that contradicted the science of his time. Back then, experts believed babies bonded with mothers simply because mothers provided food. Love, they thought, was basically a feeding contract. But Bowlby saw children in hospitals and orphanages who were fed, clothed, and kept warm, and yet they were falling apart emotionally. Something other than food was missing. The proof came from an unlikely place, a laboratory full of baby monkeys. A researcher named Harlow gave infant monkeys 2 artificial mothers. One was made of cold wire but held a bottle of milk. The other had no food at all, but was wrapped in soft cloth. According to the old theory, the baby should have bonded with the wire mother who fed them. Instead, they clung to the soft cloth mother almost all day, only darting over to the wire one to eat before rushing back to comfort. When something frightening was placed in the room, every single monkey ran to the cloth mother, not the food. The message was impossible to ignore. What a baby craves is not just nourishment. It is comfort, warmth, and the feeling of a safe base. So what does a safe base actually do for a developing child? Imagine a toddler at a playground. A securely attached child will wander off to explore the slide, then glance back to check that the parent is still there, then explore a little further. The parent is like home base in a game of tag. As long as base is safe, the child is brave. Take the safe base away, or make it unpredictable, and the child either clings in fear or stops exploring altogether. This is the quiet engine of childhood development. Curiosity grows in the soil of safety. Researchers found they could actually measure this. In an experiment called the strange situation, a mother and baby enter a room. The mother leaves for a short time, then returns. What matters is not how upset the baby gets when she leaves. What matters is what happens when she comes back. Some babies are upset, then quickly soothed and return to play. Psychologists call this secure attachment. Other babies seem indifferent, as if they have learned that crying brings no one. That is avoidant attachment. Others cannot be calmed at all, clinging and pushing away at the same time. Anxious attachment. These patterns, formed before a child can even talk, tend to echo through the rest of life. Here is where it gets personal. Think about how you behave in close relationships today. When you feel hurt, do you reach out and talk about it? Do you go silent and pretend you do not care? Or do you panic, send 10 messages, and feel sick until someone reassures you? These adult patterns often rhyme with that very first relationship. The way your mother responded to your cries calmly, anxiously, or inconsistently helped wire a kind of internal thermostat for closeness. Not a life sentence, not destiny, but a starting point you carry quietly into every friendship and romance. Now, this is the part where many people start to feel guilty or start to blame. So let's be careful and fair, because the science is more hopeful than it sounds. First, a mother does not need to be perfect. In fact, the psychologist Donald Winnicott coined a beautiful phrase, the good enough mother. He found that children do not need a parent who responds correctly every single time. They actually develop better with a parent who gets it right often enough, and who repairs the moments when she gets it wrong. A mother who snaps, then comes back and reconnects, is teaching something priceless, that love can survive rupture. That conflict is not the end, that you can be a mess and still be loved. Second, the bond is not built by big dramatic gestures. It is built in tiny, almost invisible moments. A baby coos. The mother coos back. The baby looks away to rest. The mother pauses, the baby looks back, and the dance continues. Scientists call this serve and return, like a slow game of tennis with no ball. These micro moments, repeated thousands of times, are doing something physical. They are literally shaping the architecture of the brain, the circuits for managing stress, for trusting, for calming down. There is striking evidence for just how physical this is. Studies show that when a calm, attuned mother soothes a distressed baby, the baby's racing heart rate slows and stress hormones drop. Over time, with enough of these moments, the child slowly internalizes that ability. They learn to do for themselves what the mother once did for them, to self-soothe. In a real sense, a mother is not just comforting a child in the moment. She is installing the child's future ability to comfort itself. But let's widen the picture, because here is something the old theories missed. None of this requires a biological mother, and it does not even require one person. The brain bonds to whoever reliably shows up: a father, a grandmother, an adoptive parent, a steady caregiver. The word mother in psychology is really shorthand for a role, the safe base. This matters enormously, because it means a difficult start is not a locked door. Children are astonishingly resilient when even one consistent, caring adult enters their life. One stable person can rewrite the story. And that leads to the most freeing idea in all of attachment research. For decades, people assumed these early patterns were set in stone. Newer research says something different. Psychologists talk about earned security. It means that a person who grew up anxious or avoidant can, over time, develop a secure way of relating, sometimes through a steady, loving partner, sometimes through therapy, sometimes through becoming a parent themselves and consciously choosing to do it differently. The first relationship shapes the foundation, yes, but you are allowed to renovate the house. Picture two adults in an argument. One person wants to talk it out right now and feels panicked when their partner goes quiet. The other person feels overwhelmed and needs to walk away to calm down. They love each other, yet they keep colliding. What they are actually doing is replaying two different first lessons. One learned that closeness means safety, so distance feels like danger. The other learned that being needed felt like pressure, so retreat feels like relief. Neither is broken. They are simply running old software written in a nursery. And the moment a couple can really see it, they stop attacking each other and start working on the pattern instead. That single shift in perspective has saved more relationships than almost any clever advice ever could. There is one more twist worth knowing, and it is humbling. Attachment patterns can travel down generations. A parent who is rarely soothed often finds it genuinely hard to soothe, not because they do not love their child, but because no one ever showed their nervous system how. This is why understanding all of this is not about assigning blame to mothers, many of whom were doing their absolute best with whatever they themselves received. It is about awareness. The moment you can see the pattern, you gain the power to interrupt it. Knowledge here is not just interesting, it is a way of stopping a chain. So what do we actually do with all of this? If you are a parent, the takeaway is gentle. You do not need to be flawless. You need to be warm, you need to be reasonably consistent, and you need to repair things when you mess up. That is not just acceptable. According to the research, that is exactly what builds a secure child. And if you are looking back at your own childhood, recognizing your pattern is not an excuse to stay stuck in it. It is the first tool for changing it. The most powerful relationship in your life may be one your conscious mind cannot even remember. It shaped how you trust, how you argue, how you love, and how you come back together after things fall apart. But the deepest lesson of attachment science is not that you are trapped by your beginning. It is that human beings are built, at every age, to form new safe bases and to become one for someone else. If this changed how you think about your own relationships and about the quiet power of that very first bond, subscribe. Every week we turn one piece of human psychology into a story you will not forget. Because understanding why you are the way you are is the first step to deciding who you want to become.